Getting support from senior leaders isn't about waiting for them to step in. It's about learning how to manage up. And in higher ed project work, knowing how to manage up can mean the difference between spinning your wheels and actually moving things forward. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Katie Linder, a certified project manager, change manager, and coach who works full-time leading and supporting teams in higher education. On this channel, I offer real-world examples of how project management translates into the higher ed environment. If you're looking for ways to use project management tools and skills, both professionally and personally, to bring more ease to your work and life, you're in the right place. In this video, we're talking about a skill that's essential for successful project work in higher ed: managing up. Whether you're working with a project sponsor, a department chair, a dean, or someone on the cabinet, managing up means helping them help you by being clear, strategic, and proactive in your communication. Here are 8 strategies to help you manage up effectively and get the decisions, resources, and visibility your project needs to thrive. First, you'll want to clarify their role early on. This is a foundational strategy, making sure your sponsor actually knows what their role is. The truth is, many sponsors aren't that familiar with what's actually expected of them in a project. They might assume that once the project kicks off, their involvement is minimal, but we know that's rarely the case. So don't assume they'll automatically step in to remove barriers, advocate for the project, or make critical decisions. Instead, walk them through their role. Be specific about what you'll need from them and when. Setting these expectations early will save you both time and frustration later on. Your second strategy is to communicate clearly and strategically. Senior leaders are incredibly busy, so your updates need to be efficient and action-oriented. Think high-level summaries, visuals when possible, and always include a clear ask. Make it easy for them to process the information and make a decision. That's how you keep momentum going and show that you respect their time. Your third strategy is to bring solutions, not just problems. Now, when challenges come up, and they definitely will, it's important to think about how you frame them. Of course, it's important to report problems when they come up, but even better, pair those problems with some potential solutions. If you bring 1 or 2 solid recommendations along with the issue, you're showing initiative and giving your sponsor a clear path forward. It also builds trust that you're thinking strategically and not just putting problems in their lap. Strategy number 4 is to keep a regular cadence of communication. Another key to managing up effectively is setting a predictable rhythm for staying in touch. Sponsors and senior leaders are far more likely to engage when they know what to expect. That's why it's so helpful to set a regular communication rhythm, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. It doesn't have to be a long meeting. Even short check-ins can build momentum and trust over time. And when your sponsor knows when they'll hear from you next, they don't have to chase down updates. You're making their job easier. The 5th strategy is to use their language and priorities. This next one is all about alignment, making sure your updates speak directly to what your sponsor cares most about. Senior leaders are thinking about strategic alignment, risk, and institutional impact. So if we only talk about tasks completed or internal team progress, we might miss the mark. Instead, frame your updates in terms of institutional goals, student outcomes, or risk mitigation. That's the language that will resonate most with your sponsor's priorities. Your next strategy is to be transparent about risks and roadblocks. It is essential to be honest about what's not going well, even if it's uncomfortable. It can be tempting to sugarcoat delays or downplay challenges, especially if we don't want to cause alarm. But in reality, leaders appreciate honesty, especially when issues are flagged before they become emergencies. Be transparent about risks and roadblocks and bring them forward early. When you do, include some context and a few possible next steps. It builds your credibility and shows that you're being proactive, not reactive. Strategy number 7 is to build a relationship, not just the report. Let's not forget that managing up isn't just tactical, it's relational. That means learning your sponsor's communication style, acknowledging their wins, and looping them in when things go well. Mutual trust and understanding go a long way, especially when you're navigating complex or high-stakes projects. And the last strategy for effectively managing up is to ask for help early, not just when it's urgent. In other words, don't wait until you're in crisis mode to ask for support. Your sponsor can't intervene or advocate on your behalf if they don't know that there's a problem. So involve them early, especially if you're seeing political or structural roadblocks on the horizon. Your sponsor's influence can be a game changer in higher ed environments, and they often have access to levers that you don't. Managing up is one of the most underrated skills in project work, and in higher ed, it can be what makes or breaks your momentum. When you're strategic, proactive, and relational, you not only get what you need, but you also build credibility that can support your work long term. What have you found helpful when managing up? Drop your experiences or questions in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if this video was helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.